Hello guys, this is Paula and I have been working on a new book. I'm going to show it to you. It's put together, it just has not been decorated. So I'm going to have you help me with that. It's really pretty. I'm going to show you it's dark maroons and it's got some greens and different things in it, but it's got some avocado paper. I mean, it's just really pretty. And over here it has the front of each signature has floral. The inside covers have this black with maroon. Yeah, so this is going to be projects that we're making. So it's basically a craft with me. And but we're going to put them in the book in the next video. Okay, now I do want to show you what we're going to make first. Now you see here we have these old book pages, and there's 2 of them. I forgot when I made this was like the first one I made. I forgot to punch a hole right here, so we will punch a hole in the ones we're making. And I just zigzag around this picture. And then I left a space here also to put something. And then we have a space here inside to put something. And also underneath if we decide to. Okay, so this one is finished, as you can see. And it's already in the book. You just glue it to a book page and you're ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to put this away and come over here and we're going to make one. So I've already punched the holes because I want to do a lot of things in this video and time is important. So this is what we're going to put on the front of this. Whoops, it's turned around. We don't want to mess up right away. So we're going to put this floral on the front. Now, we could put some lace under it. We can do whatever we want. So I have this lace. Let's see what it would look like. I mean, we could put it straight down. Oh, yeah, I like that. Or we could put it straight down over here toward the back. And then put our rose picture in here. I don't know whether we want to put it down or up, but either way, the lace is going to show. And yeah, so we'll figure that part out. But I'm going to go ahead and trim this lace the right length while we're sitting here waiting to get started. So these pictures that I'm going to use are journaling cards that came with this paper pack. And so I don't want to, I may not zigzag around them. I don't know yet. We'll see. Okay, so the first thing we got to do, when you cut your book pages out, you want to make sure that this width here fits into your book perfectly, and this width. Okay, then you just punch a hole in the top one, okay, and then you zigzag around the whole thing. And I hope my machine will work because I have actually been it's having trouble again like the last time, and I don't know what's gonna become of it. But anyway, so we're gonna turn the camera where you can see, and hopefully you can see all right there. And we're going to just start over here, and hopefully my machine can handle it till the bitter end. It's had some issues. I'm going to have to get a new machine. I'm not taking it to the shop again. Every time I take it to the shop, it's $100. I paid $200 for the machine. And I've only had it like 2 years. So it's kind of frustrating. So we're zigzagging around, and just to give it some decoration. Now we're not going to zigzag the two top and bottom. We're not going to zigzag the top and bottom together. I've been working, I don't know how many days, trying to get these videos together to do these crafty things for a craft for me. But I've also been working on the book. So, and I've been trying to get a book made because I haven't had time to work on one with you guys. But, you know, I'll get back to doing that as soon as I have the time. I'm still doing catch up. It's what happens when you have surgery or something, you know, you get really behind. And then to be very sick afterwards, doesn't help matters, does it? Okay, now we're going to zigzag down in front here, and then we'll zigzag around this circle, which won't be as easy as just doing a straight zigzag. I don't know if I've ever done it, honestly. Okay, you just kind of have to turn your paper as you go, and hopefully I can do that without messing the whole thing up. And I hope I have enough thread in my machine. Okay. Now I did do parts of things on all the projects we're going to work on, just to speed it up, the stuff that just takes, you know, a lot of time. Oh, I don't know if that's going to work. Let's see. Well, we'll just find out. You never know, right? I'm not even looking back until we get through this stitch. And this machine does not do back stitch for zigzag, which is aggravating. I guess it's just as well because it, you know, doesn't look great when you do it. So here's how we did this. Man, that turned out way better than I thought. And I'm going to tie these strings off over here since this is going in a book for someone else. Possibly whoever decides they want it. If not, I'll give it as gifts. You know, that's kind of how I do it. I just hope that someone wants it, and if not, then I'll give it to someone as a gift. Okay, so now I'm going to pull our other sheet out. You want to make sure no pictures are on the outside, so you got to put them on the inside. Okay, now, at this point, we can go ahead and glue the pocket together, okay? Now I'm just going to use some glitter glue, and we're just going to, you don't want to glitter the side that has the little notch out of it. Just down here. I hope this is heavy enough, or will hold it well enough, you know, because it's heavier than some things, but we're not actually putting it in the book, so we're just putting it together. So you just line your page up. Oops, let me get you back. Sorry, guys. Just line your page up. And, yeah, simple, right? Let me get out a wet wipe. Doesn't take me 5 minutes to get glue on something. Okay, so that is all nicely glued. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add this lace. Let me make sure I got everything back where it was. Let's go ahead and add this lace to this one. And I'm just going to take it from top to bottom, but I'm not going to cover the zigzag on the back portion. You know, because it can be on there however we want it, right? Now, you know, and I know that that's a crooked line. That it's hard to glue lace. You know what I mean? It's hard to glue lace. But I'm going to go ahead and put some glue, kind of like I would do a doily, on some of these places that are just solid, or as close to solid as you can get, so it won't show. And then I've got it on the paper, and that should help. And this stuff is strong. And then we can add to any edges that we think needs it. Okay, now I know that this is messy. Messy. Okay, so line it up with the glue here so it can go along this back side. And we'll stretch it where it needs to be. We might have to trim it when it dries, you know, because it's going to be very wet. I'm going to push it because it's not wanting to. Look at my hands. Goodness. The thing about glitter glue is it is very thin when it glues down. So, yeah, it's I'm going to go along this edge of the lace. Okay, I'm going to go down here along this edge. And that way we have all of it down where we want it. There we go. Let's try this again. This will hold it down, and once it's dry, we'll trim these little edges off. Now, we've got this picture, and it is black. It's edged in black, so I don't think that it would look good or better, or however you want to put it, with anything under it. I'm going to cut one edge off here. Just excuse me for a second. I won't be gone very long. Trying to make it a little more narrow if I can. And that way it'll look better on the pocket. Well, I will hope anyway. So see, that's not quite as wide, because I'd really like to put it in the middle. Now, I could put something behind it, but I feel like the lace takes care of that. And I will ink this later when it dries, because we're not going to ink during our video. Except this, I did ink this journaling card, but I cut these edges so they're white. Let me just hit them with some ink. Now, you can do all kinds of decorating with this type of project. And because you have all that freedom to do it, and then you put it in your book, you want to remember what you put on there is going to give dimension to your book. So you don't want to go crazy. You know, just adding everything but the kitchen sink. Like, I'm going to make an example for me. Probably if we have time at the end of the video, I'll come back and do the other one. I'm going to make an example for me to keep in my stash. And I'm just going to add lace and some little flowers. Little flat flowers. Okay, here we go. Let's put this right here. You also want to make sure that your book page doesn't have any bad language. I got this idea from Gail. I saw Gail do it, and she saw someone else do it. So you can go back and check out Gail's video, and, you know, she did pretty much this same type of thing. she put lace back here and then a little picture down here and a butterfly up here. So you can just decorate it however you want, just like when you collage. Now, I don't know, should we put a little butterfly on there? I have a butterfly card, but it's too big, I feel like. So, but I have butterflies. But I think I like it just like that. Now, on this one, I glued the whole picture down, so you can't put anything under the picture. But we have this really beautiful floral that goes with the journaling kit. And I thought, and I've already inked around it, I thought we'd just fix it where it can be journaled on. And I'm going to pull out 2 of these little burgundy maroon type lace or ribbon and glue them on here so that when it goes down too deep in the pocket, we can get it out. This is what I did on the one before. Okay, so we're going to do it right here. And this ribbon was in one of those grab bags at Michael's. The bag of ribbon was like, I want to say like $2.49. So it was real cheap. And I came home and that was in there and I was so excited. And I meant to go back and get some more. And I was in Hobby Lobby, or not Hobby Lobby, but Michael's, and forgot all about it. That's how it goes, right? Our memory, you know, has a hard time. So on this one, I'm putting a line on the card and a little bit on that ribbon, so it glues down too. So I just do it. I just back it onto each other. Look at this. That's stuff stuck all over me. This is right there. Okay, so here's how it's going to look. I got another little thread. I may have to get my stuff out you put on stuff that wants to ravel and you don't want it to. So I'm going to show you how this is going to look. Now, we're not going to ink it, okay? But this is going to come up right here, and that's how it will look in your book. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that a good idea? It uses up 2 book pages, and that makes it nice. I'm going to trim this lace now so it's even. Yes, I did put it over the zigzag. I just thought it looked better. You know, it's okay that it covers up the zigzag. There we go. So this will go into our book. I'm not going to put it in until I have a chance to ink it, but it will go in our book. The first one I made went into the second signature, or the first signature, so we'll put this here, and look how pretty it's going to look up against that page. Ooh, did I not trim this one enough? Oh my goodness. I may have to put it on a bigger page or a different spot or something. But anyway, yeah, I'll just have to trim it a little bit. Hopefully that I won't have to re-zigzag and all that. I just don't want to cut into my zigzag. I trimmed all these. I fit all these to the book. What I did was I did one and then I used it as a template. I'm sure that wasn't the smartest thing to do. Okay, that'll be all right on there. Okay, so I probably will trim this front part too. But you don't want to cut into your zigzag. So that's something to remember. Yeah, there we go. So I think that'd be better. It will fit better. And where was I going to put it? Right here. Oh yeah, that's going to be perfect. I got to get it in there a certain way, but We might just be a tiny bit hungover. I don't mean that hungover. Okay, so I'm going to leave that out of the book and put this over here to dry. And we'll move on to our next project. Now this is going to be just for if we have time. Okay, now another thing I saw, I think it was Gail. Maybe it was Gail. I don't know. I know that she had seen it somewhere else also, just like she did with these paper pages. And what it is it is a envelope. And this is my example, so it's not beautiful. And you don't want to use a music sheet that just falls apart. But this one was fine. So you open it up and you flip this out and you flip this out. And then it comes down. So if you know how to make, and then I just put a little circle with a little opening on the top, just glue this bottom portion. And what you do is you glue this back side into your book. So wherever you decide to put it, say the bottom of the page, like this, then when you undo it, you know, it just comes down. And you can have some secret journaling spots. That's what how I do it. Okay, so I have here, this is a template that I have, that I use for small envelopes because I get so frustrated with the envelope punch, you know, that it doesn't work like I feel like it needs to. So I just cut out some digital pages, and now they're not inked. And I just decided that we could go ahead and just fold them in. You want to score it after you cut it out. And you can do the same thing with your envelope punch. Okay, I just used my template because I had to hurry and I didn't have time to mess. Well, I did play with it a little bit another day, but I didn't have time to mess with it today. So you just want to fold it like a, this one little thing is in the way. You just want to fold it like, just like that. Now, when you do this, you can do different types of paper in here, or you can do your tea stain paper. So I think what we're going to do is put it in like this. You want to cut your paper the width of the inside of your envelope. Just a little bit less. Give a little space on each side. And you're going to glue this at that top line right there. And you're going to glue this whole section down. And put it in here. Let me make sure I've got everything folded right. You know, you never know. It looks like it's a little bit long, which of course it is. I have to refold it, but not bad. You just kind of accordion fold it, you know, where it ends up flat inside the envelope. So I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. It doesn't matter if your paper has a little extra line in it. Now let me see. Now, see, this is overhanging, so I'll have to do something with that, too. Okay, gonna put it right there. Got a little space on each side and above. Now, it's going to fit in that section, and then we'll mess with the other part when we decide what we want on it, okay? So we're going to go on this back side of our tea stain paper. And again, I will ink everything off the camera. Okay, you want this to be down good. Okay, and then you want to make sure you're lining up this bottom portion and not worrying about the other portion. Okay, so you just want to get to the top, leave a space on both sides, and line this up as far as you can at the top. Make sure it's getting down in here, and it is. So there you go. Now I'm bending this in, and I've got it bent up where it's, you know, bigger, but then we have to refold this because I messed up the first one, remember? You just want to line it up on the sides when you fold. Make sure everything's straight. Now, you could fold this little bit up, but I'm going to cut it because I don't want that little bit hanging down. So hopefully I can cut it straight. Because usually I cut everything crooked. I'm not the greatest at just free cutting. Okay. That's why we have these great, let me see if that's going to be folded down enough. No, we need to take a little bit more off. Let me see. I don't worry about perfection. It is a junk journal after all. Although I have a bad habit of giving it a theme. You know, the whole thing. So then you're going to fold the two outside ends into your book. And then you fold this bottom portion up and the top portion down. Now, obviously, you can't glue this together because you want it to come out. So I glued two little pieces of cardstock together, and you're going to take your Fabri-Tac, just because I think it'll hold better, and you just glue on the bottom third, and it usually ends up going places it's not supposed to. Now, you put the side that has no glue on it, this up here, you put it at the top, and that's where we're going to put our flap. So you have to kind of look where this end of the flap is, and you know, you want to make sure your finger's in the center of the no glue side of the ball, and then you put it down here. You might be saying, why are you using that color with green? Well, there is green in the book as well. There's some vegetation type pages. There we go. Now see, it's all folded up nice and neat. This is the portion that you glue to the book. Now, if you decide you don't want to glue it to the book page, you can just do the same thing you would do with a tag and tuck it in. So, yeah, that's your two options. Now, I don't want to leave this in there while it's drying. I don't want it to accidentally glue down. So I'm putting that over here, and let me see. Maybe we'll do one more with this paper. I had cut out some music sheet, and that didn't end up really working for me. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. Fold your envelope down. Make sure it's straight, both sides. You want it to be where you scored it. But sometimes it's hard to find the score spot, right? It makes it kind of tough. And sometimes if you don't cut your envelope just the right way, it'll hang over a little bit. Okay, come on. All right, now you don't do anything on the machine with this one. The other papers I already had zigzagged, so that's why they ended up like that. Now, I'm going to do it this direction. This is just cardstock that has lines on it. And let's see and hope that I actually cut it the right size this time. Or folded it the right size. Let's put it in and see. No, it's got to be folded up a little smaller. You're better off to start a little bit smaller, I guess. At least that's what I'm figuring here. So, if I can't get this to fold pretty, we just won't worry about it. I mainly just wanted to show you these are super simple. You all may already do these, but I didn't. And so I thought, well, maybe someone out there doesn't do it like me. Had never done it in their books. So you just want to line up the sides in order to get a good straight fold. Let me see if that's right before I fold everything else. You're better off, I can tell you'll be better off to use thinner paper than what I'm using. This is cardstock, so when you stack more than one page up on cardstock, it gets thicker. So it probably would be better to use thinner paper, but I don't have it handy right now. So we're going to make this one work. Yeah, okay. Now, that's the portion there. Now we have to go down through here and fold everything back a little shorter so that everything fits appropriately. It can be a little bit smaller and probably is better off being a little bit smaller. Then we're going to go over here and do the same thing. I wasn't going to do this on video, and that's why they were already folded. But I decided, you know, I would have some extra time and we could do that. Now, this looks a little crooked, so it's my cutting that's crooked, I'll just tell you. So I'm going to cut straight on this line. Hopefully, I can stay straight on the line. Yeah, that's better. Now, we're going to glue this, just like we did the other one. We're going to get the bottom one and get your envelope with the top up here and the bottom down, and we're going to glue this in. So, I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. Now, I'm not getting to the very edge. I'm just kind of coming out from the edge a little bit. Hopefully, I won't get any anything that seeps out, because then you have to worry about your paper gluing down. We don't want that. Okay, so we're going to take it here and line it up under the top flap. Make sure you have even space on both sides. Glue that down, and then hopefully it'll be straight. You know, nothing's perfect. I have found that out since I've been making journals. You can make one journal one way one time, and then the next time you could have all kinds of trouble. And that's, I mean, I still struggle with that. You know, like cutting pages and cutting them too short, or cutting them too high, or cutting the wrong page, or, oh my goodness. I cut 3 different pieces of paper, scrap paper, and to do on the inside of that book. And the 2 I had narrowed it down to didn't end up in there because I cut all the paper. And I had cut 2 sheets trying to get it straight. I was so aggravated. I mean, everything worked out fine, but it's aggravating. Okay, so we're going to fold these two outside sides in. And because this is heavier cardstock than what the tea stain paper is, you're going to have a little more bulky envelope. And then you just fold it up. See, it's kind of curving down here. And that's okay. And then it's coming down just like that. It's perfect. So I'm going to take my next two circles and I'm putting them together. I thought I had already done, oh, I hadn't decided on doing two, I guess. So, whoops. So you want to just put them on there. It gives it more strength than if you were to just do one. And you need the extra strength. Okay, now once you know you've got the whole outside in a perfect circle, you can take your ink and ink this white edge. And I will ink, like I said, I will ink all of the envelope and stuff, but I'm not going to do it now because we want to be able to do all three of our Craft With Me projects. Okay, now you're going to do like we did before. We're going to glue just the bottom third of the little circle. And my glue is going everywhere. It's at that point already. This is a new bottle and it's already seeping over the edge. Now when you glue these together, you don't want to go crazy with the glue because it will seep out forever. I know because I've done it. Okay, now we're just going to do across this very bottom portion and hold the top portion. Oh, that's going to be a little much. Let me wipe that off. There we go. I do get carried away, don't I? I say I'm going to do better, and then I find myself just squeezing it on there. Okay, so you don't want to put the glue side on the flap. You want to put it down here so that that can fit in there, and hold it for a second so it can adhere faster. Yeah. See, this just comes out and then you just put it back in there when you're done writing. Super easy. All right, so now we have two of these made and they're pretty much identical. I'm going to set that over here. Now, this next thing we're going to make, I've never made. And I'm going to move that sewing machine out of the way so we can move over a little bit. How's that? So I've never made it before, and I saw Gail doing, I think it was Gail that I saw. It's usually Gail because I watch Gail. I've watched her forever, and she's one of the people that inspired me. Her and Cheaply Chic, Lynette, really inspired me to do junk journals. And so that's how that happened. Now I'm going to show you a rough, very rough one that I did. So there's the bigger envelope. There's the very small, which is, I didn't have any medium at the time. Excuse me. My husband took my drink away and I forgot. So I'm over here choking, needing it. This is a coin envelope. So what you do, you will, let's say this is the page right here and this is the outside edge. You will end up taking the flap and lining it all the way to the edge. When you put this next envelope on, you take the flap and line it all the way to the edge of this bottom envelope. And the same with this. You put the edge on there. Now, I'm going to show you what I did. Rather than doing that, I'm going to bring stuff out. I've already zigzagged the paper because it just took forever. These are the cards that will go inside. Okay, now, this is the little coin envelope. And I went down to the very bottom, the opposite of the flap, and trimmed just a tiny bit off of there so that it can be a pocket. See? Okay. Now, on the next envelope, which is medium size, I don't know the sizes of these envelopes. You just have to get 3 different sizes. It can be any way you want it. So you have the flap here. And so I did the same thing. I went up here and I trimmed this little edge. Okay. I'm going to need to put a tiny bit of glue right there. Sometimes it will, you know, make your envelope separate like that when you cut it in certain places. Now, of course, it's wanting to seep out everywhere. Wouldn't be Fabri-Tac if it didn't. All right, so now on this one, we're also going to do the same thing with this flap. It's going to go down on this side, just like that. But it will be on the bigger envelope. And then you always keep the portion that you slid open on the 2 big envelopes. You want it to be, the medium, I mean, you want it to be at the top. Okay. Trying to find the top now. So terrible. I don't even see it separate. There. There we go. And this flap's going to go down and your opening's going to be here on the top. Okay. Now on this small one, when we attach this flap to this one, you'll be able to see the flaps on top, but don't worry because we're going to fix that. You want it to be flush. And this one's going to open on the bottom. Okay. And this medium one's going to open on the top. Okay. Now we've got the large one coming up. And on the large one, on the large envelope, we want it to open on the side. See? But we still want our flap available to go on our book page. Just like that. Okay? So you're going to glue this down onto your book page, right like that. Okay, this is how we'll attach it. By attaching this lower band, this lower envelope flap to our page when we get ready to put it in the book. And again, this is going to be right here. Now, you can do it on either side of the page, either side of the book. Let me show you. It'd probably make more sense if I actually get my book out and show you. Because it's a lot of pieces just kind of hanging out there, and it's harder to make sense out of it. So we've got our 3 envelopes, and we have cut them very, very little off, just enough to open up the edges. And let's find a page. Let's say, let me find a page. Let's just go right here. Now, let me get my weight for my book. Okay. So we're going to take the large piece. And you've got to pay attention to where your flap is and pay attention to where your opening is. It's over here. So we want the right side facing up, or the front side of the envelope facing up. So we would glue this down into our book all the way to the edge. All the way to the edge. Now, you're going to glue the whole flap down. Okay, and that's all you're going to have there at first is this flap right there. Now, really, I should do it on the other side of the page. Let's do it on the right side so Let's see. Let's do it on this side. Trying to find a place that we can put it where it'd be easier for you to comprehend what I'm saying, because it is confusing. Okay, so let's do it again. We're going to do it on the left side page for this particular envelope. And it depends on the envelope. You need where you cut the sides out. See, this still isn't going to work. Yeah, your flap will go in here. Let me think. I've not done this before, so you want your opening. So the opening, I guess, goes on the inside. So, and it will be fine because this will lift up. You know what I mean? So you're going to glue this down, glue your flap down right here. Your opening's on the side. Okay? Get that glued down. Then you're going to hold it. I'm going to hold it so you can see what I'm doing with number 2. So with number 2, you want to make sure your opening is at the top. Let me find it. Yeah, right there. Okay, so they're all going to glue. The flaps are all going to... That's the opposite side. How does that happen? That doesn't make sense. Okay. Now the opening is up here. No, it's down here. I cut the wrong side. I should have cut it up here. So we'll just pretend I cut it up here. Sorry, guys. I've been putting this stuff together. I was up all night doing it. Okay, and I'm sure I must have dozed. All right, so your flap's going to be on the same sides that you put the other flap on, which is the outside here. So it's going to go like this. And we'll glue this back together and open this up. And let's do that real quick so it makes more sense. I did mine on a trimmer. I just cut a little tiny piece. You can do it with scissors or you can do it with a trimmer. Okay. Now, let me glue this portion down over here. It's not going to be that big a deal. I'd already glued a little bit down, it looks like. So you want a teeny tiny line. Small as you can get it right there. Okay. So we're going to act like we never did that. Can't believe I did. I must have been out of it. I got up at 3:30 and stayed up till 6:15 working on getting my stuff together. That's how much time it takes. It takes forever to prep a video if you're going to make some particular things. Okay, so we're starting over. Cut the openings here, the flaps here. We're going to pull the flap or the envelope all the way to the very edge and then press down and glue it. Okay, glue your flap down only. Okay, now we're going to take the medium one, and you want to make sure that your opening is on the top, and I'll fix that in a minute. And you just put it in the center, or if you want it all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom, you put it anywhere on here you want. There's no wrong way, except you want the flaps on the same side. So we'll raise this up, and then we have this flap glued to the other envelope. Okay, now we're going to get our coin envelope, which I told you has the bottom open. Okay, now it's not going to go on the top. I mean, the opening's going to be on the bottom. So I'm just going to put it over this way and glue the flap down right there. See how I did that? Okay. Now, that's the first thing we do. All right. We're not going to glue the big one onto the book because I'll have to look through it and see where it needs to go. But that's how we do the envelope portion. Now, I'm going to move the book. I just wanted you to get a sense of what I was talking about. Okay. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to take our flaps and we're going to, let me get a glue book. I'm just going to use a glue stick on what I'm about to show you. Okay. Now, let's pretend we've already glued this flap down, okay? And we're coming to the second envelope, and we need to glue down. Make sure the top is up. We're going to glue down this portion. Let me put just a dab right there. Okay. All right. Now, we're going to glue this flap like this right here on the side, and I'm just going to center it right there. So I want to put my glue on my flap, the side that's going to go down on the other envelope, and you're going to, which is going to be the right side of the envelope, you're going to put that down right, just bend it over, line it up right on the edge of your bottom envelope. Okay. Come on. Right there. And I'm doing that with a glue stick, and I'm doing it closer to the bottom. And that's okay too. It doesn't matter where it goes, as long as it works for you and how you want it. Now, raise this up. Make sure your flap is down really well, and then bring it back over. Now, I do that with glue stick. You can do it with whatever you want. Now we've got this one, and we're going to do the same thing. So we want the glue to be on the outside flap. Okay. All right. So now we're going to glue our little flap more toward the right, but that's why I use glue stick, because you can move it too when you don't get it exactly where you want it. So I'm just kind of moving it around little bits at a time to get it lined up with the envelope. Okay. Then you go under here, make sure everything is like it's supposed to be. Now, that's how it's going to look. Now, when you're in your book and you're putting it in your book, I'm going to show you some things that don't fit, but I'm going to show you what I put in this book. Okay, I know what I did wrong. I flipped this one the wrong direction, but it's going to work. See, it's open on the outside, and the flap is supposed to be on the outside. Yeah, it's okay. It's like I said, you can do it any way you do it. So when you get all your papers put on here, your decorative papers, and you're all done, we're going to take this opening and put in a journaling card. Now, I'm just showing you with this index card. So this will have a place to pull out a journaling card. Then your medium one, where is it open at? I'm going to be angry if I put everything in the wrong spot. Good grief. No, that one's the... Yeah, I did. You guys, how do you do that? Is what I want to know. But it's okay, because we can flip it around when we put it on. We can actually get this off before it dries too much. It's confusing. And that's why I said you got to make sure everything's cut in the right spot. It's easy to cut the wrong end. So here, this is opened at the top. We want it to stay at the top. we forgot, we had turned it this way, and it needed to be turned this way. But then this is on the other side, and that's okay. But you want all your openings, it would be better off on the outside. So I don't know how I'll end up doing it, but either way will be fine. Okay, now, really it's better like this. Yeah. No, because then this one is on the opposite. I had it right to start with, you guys. I had it opened on the right side to start with. So I'm going to trim it again. Now, mind you, let me get in there. It's crazy. Don't worry about that little piece showing right here, because I know you guys are probably all confused. I hope not. I hope this makes sense. You want your openings to be on the top or the side of the two large envelopes. So I want my opening to be here and here, okay? Now, we'll close this one in a little bit. Okay, so that we're on the right trail now. Now you take your glue stick and your little coin envelope, and you glue it back. So we're going to put some glue on there. Now we want it to be open on the bottom with this one. And you're probably thinking, why? Well, it's different for one thing. And it's small enough that you can get, let me get this on and I'll show you what I mean. It's small enough that if you have the right size tag, the tag will stay in there. Then I'm going to show you that. Okay, now this one's on right. Okay, and this is how your journaling things will go inside. Now I've got this black tag, but we'll use a white one probably. Get on there. Yeah, see, it slides right up into this envelope. And there you go. Now you can straighten it. I have it all crooked. And then you've got, of course, this medium envelope ended up being bigger. I would put a journaling card down in there. I don't guess I got that opened all the way. I didn't. This is crazy. I'm going to have to do it with all new envelopes when it's all said and done. I got it open now. This is how it's been this whole book. Working on this book, I feel like I've used more paper. I've redone things. I never do that. But, you know, I've also been having a lot of discomfort. And because my other hip is needing replaced. I'm sorry, guys. It is. And then I'm trying to wait till March. You know, after my husband retires. I'm trying to wait till then. I'm trying to wait to get on my Medicare because, you know, I'll only have like a $2,000 out of pocket on Medicare, but on my insurance now, it's a $4,000 out of pocket. So I don't want to pay that $4,000 and turn around and have to do it again, possibly with the Medicare. So I'm trying to wait. It's hard. I'm needing another injection. Okay, so now everything's right. And what we're going to do next, because I want us to do it together. So let me glue this bottom back where it's supposed to be. And we'll do this again in another video. I'll pop it in with some other video and we'll do it again and we'll get it correct. So it won't be so confusing. Okay, that one is glued at the bottom now. So everything's cool. But then you look at it and you think, okay, well, why are these open on this side? Stuff will come out that you put into the pockets, right? Like this one's open here. If I keep pushing, that tag can come out. Well, we're going to take care of that. And that's what we're going to do right now. Let me make sure that's straight. Okay, we'll start at the bottom and we'll do this one first. So we're going to find one of our bigger papers. Here's one. I already zigzagged and inked all the way around the papers. So we're going to glue that down like a mat, okay? And what it ends up doing is where the opening is, where is the opening? It's on this other side. It would still help it. So I'm going to glue this down like a mat. I'm going to put this glue tip back on. Okay, now. Sorry, cleaning off the tip. The dreaded Fabri-Tac. Okay, so we're going to just put some glue on here. It doesn't want to come out, come out, come out. Do you guys ever have it do that to you? It's because if I leave it open while I'm doing other stuff, it kind of... Trying to get it to the edge without going everywhere like I just did. I put too much on here. It's because my thing, it's just flowing out like 90 miles an hour. I've noticed that it does that whenever it starts doing its volcano thing. It just starts running out like crazy. So I'm going to try to push some of this down. Excuse me while I get a wipey here. I'm sticking to the wiping. That's pretty bad, huh? Okay, now we're going to put this paper on the bottom envelope on the inside. There we go. Now, I just left a little border when I did mine. So this is going to would keep stuff from falling out. Except we have to do it on this side too. So, no, because this is going to be glued down. So we don't have to worry about that. See, this is all a learning process for me. I'll probably get a comment from somebody that says you should have learned it before you did the video. Well, I thought I did. I've gotten comments like that before. I feel like I do pretty good at making sure everything is like it should be. So we're going to flip this over here and flip this up and glue down here. I decided to put this little bee right here. I know he's sideways and I know that's sideways, but I like him. So put some glue on this. This is just antique paperia digitals that I used in this book. And I discovered when I went over there, I was going to look to see if I had, see if they'd had anything new that might work in this book. And I mean, I had paper that would, but anyway. And they had their store is closed, and it says that they'll notify on their site when, I guess they reopen, because they're doing away with their digitals and they're doing paper pads. I think that's how I understood it. That makes me sad, just so you know. Now see, that covered up that side. We want the top done first, and then we go back and do the bottom one, which actually has the opening on some of them. So here's this one. What is the deal? Here, I pushed that up too high, or I cut it too long or something. So it wants to get in the way. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that's better. Just a little tiny bit will cause havoc, doesn't it? Okay, now we'll do this outside, which is going to be this beautiful pink, maroon, pink, pinkish. I'm going to trim this a little bit before I get started because it looks a little long. I'm always trying to find new paper crafting things for us to do. But I'll tell you, there is not that much out there for the kind of things we need for a journal. I mean, there's quite a bit, and we do all those. But I mean new things. It's, you know, I just kind of look at books and hope that I can learn something from it. And then I try to figure it out, which is what I think I pretty much did with this, because I could never find the video. When I decided I wanted to do this, I never found the video. So I just took a chance that I was doing it right. So anyway, right. Let me take this tag out so we don't get glue on it. Now, so see, it decorates the outside really lovely. I think it looks lovely. Now, that, of course, is not the side that we're having issues with. You know, the side we're having issues with is the inside, because all of the inside has the open portion of the envelope. Now, obviously, we need to cover that. And so, let me wipe this thing off. I use a Kleenex so I don't take all my wipies. Okay, now, I'm going to open these up, but first I'm going to explain to you. We're going to put the flap down, okay? Line everything up to the sides you want. And then this opens here and opens at the top. And this one, we put the flap on. And see, the flap is covered now. That's what we just did, was cover the flaps. No flap there. And now we're going to cover this side that is open on each one. So this one, where's my other little, oh, there it is. I have another little piece cut out to do here. And so you just want to make sure when you do it that you are able to glue that down. Now, because this has got such a tiny opening, I'm going to do something that wasn't part of the class. Well, there wasn't a class, but wasn't part of the video I saw. I want to just make sure it's closed. And so, because this paper can't go over that opening very well. So, what you do with this is you can decorate, you can put stuff on top of all of this. And, good grief. I'm so sick of Fabri-Tac. How are you guys feeling about it? I mean, it works the best, but I'm sick of, you know, when I bought it, it was that low already. It's like half of it, not half of it, but a lot of it was not even in the bottle. I mean, they didn't fill it all the way. And I've noticed that at like 3 different stores. And I mean, I know the stores don't make it, but the companies are not filling it all the way. And I think it's because of the pressure of the acetone in it. And that must have something to do with it. Now, don't you be silly. I'm going to put that all the way to the top so that this closes, hopefully, like it's supposed to. Now, let me make sure it's closing. Yeah, perfect. See, when you flip it over, you're going to see your coin pocket, which I didn't get that centered on there very good, but that's all right. It's not about perfection. Okay, now we're going to flip this over and we're going to cover this. Now, for some reason, I'm thinking I saw someone put lace here or something besides, you know, what is there now. So I'm thinking maybe instead of lace, we can use this doily. Now, it is going to bleed through. I mean, it will, because it's thin. But if it doesn't look good right away and we think, oh my gosh, we'll pull it off. I think they were just trying to use different textures on here. And to me, that just bulks up your book. But this is super thin, and I thought, well, why not? So we're going to use our glue book. And let me get over here. I got to turn off open up this a little bit. Tear off this page. It's pretty sticky. And we'll put this up here. But I'm going to do the glue stick. Oh, now, wait a minute. You have to be very careful. You've got this big open area. See right here? Now, if we wanted to, we could just put the paper, or we can just glue the edge on this side. I think that's what we need to do. I like it like that better. Okay, so let's, first of all, may not be able to use our glue stick, except on this portion right here. Get this up here. We're going to put the glue stick on the envelope part so we don't have a lot of glue seepage through our handkerchief. This is a handkerchief I got in a vintage store. I don't know. It looks like it's not one of the old vintage, super vintage ones, because it's not embroidered, you know, and usually they are. Okay, so now we've got glue on there. So I'm going to do it like this. Go ahead and get this down. Try to pull this to the corner. Now, you'll be surprised what glue stick will hold. And it's going to only hold this portion over here that has glue on it. And this portion doesn't. I don't know why it's rippling up right there. That's weird. Might have to lift this and pull it straight down. Yeah, there we go. It's a little bit less ripply. It still has some rippling going on. Still has some rippling. So I'm going to trim this right here where you can't see it on the other side. And that way we know it's flush. Now, if I have any trouble with it staying down, I'll come back and add some of this glitter glue along the other portion. Okay, now I'm just going to add this on the edge here. There we go. Now this should hold it down. At least this portion. You don't want to put your journaling cards in until all your glue has dried. But everybody knows how to put journaling cards in a pocket, right? Okay, now let me find my little needle. We could reinforce this edge over here, you know, the corners, and put a little bit, I'm sorry, I got a pin in my mouth. Put a little bit there, a little bit here, just to kind of make sure it's got a, you know, the corners at least secured. Okay. Now, we need to finish the, now the one on the bottom, let me think for a minute how we're going to do that. The one on the bottom, we should, I thought would just glue into the book, like, let's use this as an example. Okay, so here is the front. We have our side pocket here. And then we have the top pocket here on the medium size, right behind the coin pocket, see? And then on this one, we have the pocket on the bottom. So we have secured the top two envelopes where nothing can fall through the opening, but we haven't on this. So I cut out another paper to fit here. And I think what we need to do is go ahead and put it on there until we know what we're going to do with it. This is going to be on the book. And that's why I'm thinking this isn't going to look right. We'll have to do this side to keep the pocket where stuff won't slide out of it. But we may have to cut another piece of this paper when we put it into the book, because then this is going to show if we still want it to flip back and forth. And I think I do. That's how it's, see, like you're supposed to put this right here. And then what we'd do is we'd take another sheet like this and cover over it, or one that's big enough to cover over this. See, it's a little short there. And then when you flip it up and down, you know, and I would on here, instead of doing a printed, keep it printed over here, but on here do like lines to journal on. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope it does. Now, on this one, I'm going to put the Fabri-Tac here. And the reason I am is because I don't want to get it on the inside of that envelope. You know what I'm saying right there? I hope this makes sense to you guys. If you guys need to see a separate video on this, you just let me know in the comments below. By that time, I should have it down. No guarantees, but I should have it down by then. Okay, so we're going to put this on here. Now, see, there's nothing here. Oh, that needs to come out. I was wondering why there was tea stain on the inside of the book. There we go. So we're going to put it on here like this. And it's not going to have glue where the journaling card will go inside the envelope. So that's good. It seeped out a little bit right there. Okay. Now we're going to do this portion here. I don't know how long we've been on here. Oh my goodness, we gotta wrap it up. So this is, it's been an hour and 18 minutes. I'm a bad girl. Flips up, you put your stuff here. Flips up, you put your stuff in that top pocket. And then on this one, it's on the outside here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be back for us to decorate the new book. Okay, see you next time. Bye.